Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? And welcome once again to the UnLearnT podcast. I am your host, Ruth Abigail, aka RA.
What up, friends? It's your girl, Jaquita.
And this is the podcast that is helping you gain the courage to change your mind so that you can experience more freedom.
Freedom. Yes, it's time to get in on this freedom, y'all.
We love freedom.
Listen, I feel like we should do this at the beginning. Sometimes we wait to the end, but
yep.
by then people may have clicked off. So here we are today asking you to please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast.
Absolutely.
Listen, we've been out here, if only y'all knew how much we have been putting in to make sure we get you guys these good episodes, okay? We don't want anyone to miss out on this. We're talking about some good stuff here, guys. Make sure you like, make sure you tell a friend, and make sure you don't just like it, join us.
There you go.
Okay, hit that subscribe button. Okay, let us know it's real. All right?
Let us know, guys. We absolutely we love doing this. We really are very passionate about our middle adults and our middle adult community and about getting free, because us middle adults, we're finishing off kind of the third or the first third of our lives, you know what I mean? And so I think
you're about to get grim. It's about to get grim.
I'm not getting grim. I'm just saying.
Getting grim.
No. I'm not trying to get grim. I'm just saying, like, it's time to be free from stuff. And the next 2/3 of our life should be within freedom. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's things that we just should not have to be dealing with, and we don't need to continue to accept in life anymore. And that's what we want to try to help us do and help us to unpack. That's like the middle adult word. Jaquita's on mute, guys. Jaquita has to unmute herself because we can't hear her.
You on mute the whole time?
No, just now.
Weird thing. But unpack is the middle adult, like, that's jargon right there. That's middle adult jargon right there. We love to unpack something.
We love the unpacking.
Listen, speaking of unpacking,
let's unpack it. Let's do it.
This goes out to all my, I'm sorry, I was thinking of baby mamas, but we're not talking about baby mamas. We're talking about single leaders again. I was just about to sing the song. B-A-B-Y. Okay, anyway.
Hilarious.
Absolutely.
This goes out to all. I'm sorry. It's in there. It's in there. We're in there.
Fantasia had us in a chokehold, didn't she?
Man, I haven't thought about that song in a decade. Okay, go ahead.
Watching younger people do the "When I See You" song, like, and get so caught up, like that's their song.
That's their song.
Like, how do y'all even know this?
TikTok. Yeah, go ahead.
Anyways, we're still talking to single leaders. Are talking about single leaders. I resonate with what we're about to talk to so much, because I feel like for so long in my single journey, I did not realize how hyper focused I was on this idea of marriage, not only as a concept, but as like this necessary thing that I needed to complete me, to really begin my life. I was waiting on this thing so that I could begin living.
Wow.
And doing everything in my life to make sure that I could get to that point. And so today we want to hone in specifically on the kind of some of the decisions that we make as single leaders, and how we transition from really being kind of that in that mindset where everything is kind of circling around this idea of finding a mate, to really just allowing our singleness to be a gift. Which, if you're at a point in your life where that phrase gets on your nerves, I understand. Listen, we middle adult is not a monolith, okay?
That's
we're not monolithic just because we're single and middle adults, okay? everybody does not sit there and be like, man, I just love being single. Or I've really found a contentment with it. I don't know where everyone is in their journey, but I do know that I've been on both sides of the coin. Yeah. And I'm here to tell my truth on today.
That's really good, Jaquita. And I will say, there's some things that we're going to talk about that I definitely can relate to, and of how I was kind of in my mindset.
I'm still down with the singles.
Can I just get, you know what? All right, y'all. Like, she'd be doing this on every episode.
Relate with the singles.
If you look here, if you are tired of Jaquita throwing me under the bus every time I try to relate, just put in the comments. Please chill, Quita. Just put in the comments, chill, Quita. Chill.
Nah. Chill. And if you believe Ruth Abigail is doing the most, trying to act like she's still in the trenches.
I'm not acting like it. I'm just saying I can like understand.
A rich friend that's like, hey guys, I know what
it's like to be poor.
Not having enough, okay? Just yesterday, I had to go to my second savings, to pay for a trip.
I'm so sick of y'all. I'm so sick of you. No. I'm so sick of you. I really can't stand you.
I can relate.
Whatever. The point is, I did relate, to some of these. And in particular, I can't say, and I think I can't say that I necessarily was on the side of waiting to do things until I got married. I think, my mom was, she married later in life, and she was kind of my example. And so I was very grateful to never have felt pressured to kind of start that journey at any particular point in time. And my mom had really had accomplished a lot of things before she got married. And so that was kind of my blueprint. And I just kind of went after certain things. But there are some things around fear, vulnerability, and that I think I was leaning into more. And even to your point, Quita, doing those things primarily so that I felt like I could be prepared for somebody else. Like, I do think that was a part of, I won't say but I think that was a part of, like, if I don't figure this out, like, I don't know how I'm going to connect to somebody. And so we're going to just run through a few of these points that we've talked through that we think are some realities to being a leader that is single and desires marriage, right? Desires a partner.
Yeah.
And these are things that we have to look out for. We have to unlearn and get free from, because I think a lot of these things, we're not going to go over a whole lot. We're going to go over kind of three major things, but these things are pretty critical. And I think they stop a lot of people from being free in this area, and in turn can stop your life, right? It can keep you stuck, and keeps us stuck. So this first one, I think is something that we will definitely know and understand, and just something we have to be honest about when it comes to social media. I'm not a big social media person. I really would not have it if I didn't have to use it for work.
Have a podcast
and have this podcast, right?
Podcast and wasn't the executive director of an organization.
I wouldn't have it.
We wouldn't even know what Ruth Abigail looks like.
Honest to God, like, I would be nowhere near social media. It is not something that interests me. I'm not interested in doing it. However, because I am on it, I notice a lot of things. One of the things that I notice is, and I don't know, Quita, if you have seen this in people that you know, but there are people that I know that consistently put up what I would call highlight reel moments of their life. Mm-hmm. And that's all they do, right? And I particularly notice it when I know that their life is not in a highlight moment. Like, it's not something I think, it's something I know.
Fingertip touch.
Right.
because let me tell you something. The phone calls most of us in our middle adults age range are getting in regards to social media are, you see the status such and such put up? Okay. Like, or you see somebody change their last name,
Oh man.
or I'm checking for the ring ain't there no more.
Man, look,
You
let's
know,
be honest.
let me tell you something. It is a pattern. I keep changing my dissertation. I haven't changed my dissertation topic, but I keep remolding it and reshaping it. And I am just so like, there would be somebody needs to study the trends that have gone through social media as far as how we are like relaying like the more grievous areas of our lives, because
Yeah.
there is a way to track it, right? There's a formula, there's a system, right? And when people start posting too many memes, we're watching you. You got 20 of them little word graphics
Hilarious.
in your in your stories. We see you, okay?
You're not as cryptic as you think.
You're not at all cryptic.
No.
But I do think that there is this idea where social media, when you think about all of the words kind of surrounding social media, like story and status and, like highlights and messaging, like it's a brand, right? It
Man,
is you
absolutely.
telling and crafting the story that you want everyone to know. It's you positioning yourself to market yourself. Whether you're marketing yourself as, oh, look how great of a friend I am. Like, social media is a marketing, it's a place where we market ourselves.
Correct.
Right? It is a place where we deliver a story, an image, a brand, whether you're trying to brand yourself as the super successful, traveling, super independent, carefree person, or whether you're like, listen, I'm getting it in. I'm grinding every day. Look, achievement, achievement, achievement.
Yep.
I'm just so politically engaged. Like, I care so much
Yeah.
about everything happening in the world and have really solid opinions about everything. Or, who I was for a while. I'm going to give you this word of encouragement.
There you go.
All right.
There you go.
I got a little something for you. The Lord just dropped in my ear. Want to pass that on to you, because faith, and more faith is what I got to give the saints, right? But it doesn't. Everybody has built this brand and this idea of who they are, and as a single person, you can really. There's kind of two places you get stuck, right? It's I'm gonna change my Facebook picture because this is gonna be the one that grabs them. And when I change my Facebook picture, I'm going to spend all day looking to see who liked it, right? And then I'm going to, surely someone will see this amazing picture of me,
Absolutely,
and want to snatch me up,
and come
be like,
right to my door.
listen, she
knock,
put
knock,
on the
knock.
gold earrings today, and that's what did it for me.
That did it.
That's when I knew. That's when I knew. But we either do that, or sometimes we can use it to cover up this idea that, like, just because I'm single, I don't want you to think I'm deficient.
Yes.
Just because I'm single, I don't want you to think I'm lacking anything. I don't want you to think I'm not content. Like, I need to prove to the peoples that, I still got it. I'm still out here. I'm still that girl. Right. And I think that we just got to be honest.
And I think that we were kind of talking about, just kind of joking about the memes and stuff earlier. It's really interesting, like we meme culture, filter culture, like real culture. I mean, all of that, like you said, it's just flashes of stuff. The reels are flashes of stuff. The memes are a flash of something. What's also interesting about the meme culture and or these elaborate paragraphs of what people like, word, would you call them, word, what'd you say,
I think like word graphics or
Word
word.
graphics, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, is we use them to express, we use other people's words and creation to express how we feel. And
Whoa. Yeah.
as opposed to being honest, to your point, right?
I think there's something there, but go ahead.
That like it's our way of letting you in, but not too much. It's like,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? And I think that it is a mark of, again, and a lot of times, like, it's like, you see them. I don't know. It's a lot of times it can be very. You can tell, okay, like you're seeing this over and over and over again. You can kind of like deduce certain things, but you're never 100% sure. And I think that lack of honesty, that faux honesty, if you will,
Yeah.
allows us to believe that we're being honest, right? I'm putting my truth out there with this meme. It's like, really? Like, and it's still a cover up. It's still something that you want people to see, but you don't want them to see. And we and that is that we really have fallen into that. And I think particularly as leaders, I love what you said. We don't want, it is not, you don't want to be seen as deficient, because quite frankly, the rest of your life is not that. Like,
Yeah.
you feel like I'm it's hard when you feel like you're winning in one area and losing in another. You don't want to feel like a loser. You do not want to feel like I'm not winning here. So in order for me to win here, what do I need to do to look like I'm winning? And that is something that I think it's a platform that social media is a platform that a lot of people use so that it looks like they're winning, because
Yeah.
you want to win in every area of your life. Now, I'm not
Yeah.
suggesting, and I think neither are you, are we're not suggesting that it's wrong, or that it's like, to put great things out there, to put, accomplishments out there. None of that is bad. It's fantastic. It's really looking at why are you doing it? What are
Yeah.
you trying to, what is your motive? What are you hoping to prove? Are you hoping to prove something by putting this out there? Or is it
Yeah.
genuinely a celebratory moment that you want to share? Those could be two different things. And I think it's important for us to evaluate what my why is there.
Mm. Yeah, and I think one thing I feel like I've learned just in these single streets, if you will, is that it really is, when you are walking with the Lord, he is much more concerned about the status of your heart
Yeah.
than which box you check on your tax forms. You know,
100%.
like,
Correct.
and it is, I think when we get out of the mindset that marriage is a gift for right living, like it's a reward. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a,
yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
congratulations,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
did
that's
all
good.
the things, you met all the requirements for marriage. Because I think the other piece of social media that gets us caught up is this level of comparison, where you start seeing it happen for other people. And it's almost like we got checklists. And we be like, now, Lord, now, they your child. They your child too. Okay, but Lord, I thought I was in the honors college. Like, I thought
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was doing the things. Like, I thought, I gave you a little extra devotion, last week. Made sure I worshiped a little more.
Sure.
Made sure, I go to church every Sunday, read my Bible every night. I talk, I mentor people, I minister to people, I preach, I teach. I'm doing all these things. How are people getting ahead of me in this thing? And we start taking the life that we were gifted with, and we start minimizing it to fit into this box of who we think we're supposed to be and where we think we're supposed to be, and you don't enjoy the moment because we're stuck looking at a screen.
That's right.
We're stuck, and the screen is now informing you and telling you who you're supposed to be and where you're supposed to be in life.
That's right.
You start seeing people you went to high school with and people you went to college with, and you're like, okay, Lord, look like everybody moving on up.
Yeah.
Look like everybody's transitioning to their next level of life. And I think that we have to be honest with ourselves. If you are struggling with comparison now, you will also struggle with it later. Because when you get married, then you're going to be like, oh, okay, well, so-and-so, they got this bigger house. And now they just got a new car. Oh, and now they have a child. And it's hard and I'm struggling to have a child. And, oh, well, they, went on, 2 vacations this summer and we could only afford to go on one.
Right.
The habits and the mindsets and the heart posture that we have when we're single, those things transition with us into marriage.
They do.
And it really is something that you have to be able to identify now, because it's not going to get better when that person comes.
No. I was just about to say, like, with children, like, that's definitely something. I wouldn't say I'm like super comparison, but it's definitely something that crosses my mind. It's like, yo, like, I, well, when is that you can get it doesn't stop. Like, the comparison doesn't stop, and you can ask yourself, you can get in the trap of asking yourself the same types of questions, just the same question, different subject.
Yeah.
It's a mindset shift, and so I think you're 100% right. We have to stop using social media as so much of an outlet that it is really stealing our joy. In not, like you said, really loving today. Like, and that can be a part of it. All right, what is the next one, Quito?
Okay. All right. Let's get into this one, okay? I want to talk to my single friends, okay? Single ladies, all my single ladies, okay. Doing everything with the mindset of this is for my marriage.
Yeah.
Or with the mindset of this is going to push me towards marriage. Right? And I really think that we get to these points where I think one example for me is, I took my healing class, and the whole time through the healing class, I was like, all right, we're getting healed. This is that last thing. Right. And when I'm fully healed and the Lord looks at this healed heart,
there you go.
Okay, and I'm all whole and stuff.
Come on.
He's gonna be like, oh, great.
Yep.
Now I can send it to her. Now she's ready. Open that door up, angels, okay, and send that man. But halfway through the journey, I realized this has absolutely nothing to do with anybody except for me.
That's right.
Like, this is a moment that God has set aside for me because God loves me and because he wants me to be whole and content and satisfied and enjoying life.
Yeah.
And I can honestly say I went years not enjoying my life. I went years saying, hey, life will become enjoyable when the person comes.
Man, that's
now, just grind, work, and live for the day that's coming and not for the day that you're in.
I think that's such an important, live for the, don't live for the day that's coming, live for the day you're in. And I think that's such an important thing for us to really go after stuff. Like, don't get in your head about, well, if I achieve too much and I have too much, he won't want me. Get that out of your head. Right. Or, if I do so much by myself, what are we going to do together?
I know, right? Like, you're going to get together and be like, oh, I've already done the thing.
Like,
and
honestly, you got to get that out of your head.
Yeah. And you really cannot suspend your becoming. and we
No.
suspend
No.
a lot of things in our lives. And honestly, what you're looking for will only recognize the version of you that God wants to be with that person.
That's right.
And I think that that's something that I've really come to realize. My friends, they have jokes right now. Okay. They got a lot of jokes. Okay. Apparently I'm in my bougie era.
She is, guys.
And
She
they
is.
remind me of this constantly
Yes, she
because
is.
I used to be like $20.
Yep.
Ain't nobody paying $20 for that, because I ain't have $20.
There you go.
Okay, that's why I was saying that's not because I didn't want to, or because I didn't think it was a good idea. It's
Yep.
because, hey, if all I got is $20, I can't use it on that. But blessed be the Lord God who delivers us and strengthens us and gifts us with resources.
Amen.
But even in that, like I've been just thinking through that. I'm like, I'm such a different person when it comes to like my mindset around money, my mindset around, keeping a house, or my mindset around the importance of work. No, I'm not going and sitting at that job all day. I got other stuff to do. I got a life to live. Yes, I'm going to travel. Yes, I'm going to get out. Yes, I'm going to enjoy my life, and not because I'm doing it with the mindset that he might be there. He
Yeah.
might be around the corner.
Yeah.
If I go to this conference,
Yeah.
y'all, okay, it's a well-known fact. Back in the day before all the law changes and stuff, we used to have a men of color conference. Okay, it was a big deal. And everybody knew I went to the men of color conference to find me a man of color
every year.
every year. To the point that, child, I was telling other people about it, and we was all there. Like, everybody came dressed down, okay? And we was all there. I had one of the ladies who worked at the convention center that we was having the conference at. I told her, I was like, listen, girl, I met her at another event. I was like, listen, the men of color conference, you need to go there because you're going to find you a man of color.
My Lord.
When I saw her there, she said, girl, thank you. I already got 3 numbers. I said, we don't gatekeep round here, hunty. Okay, go find you one. I used to go there. I had my Hi Hello app ready. Okay.
Hilarious.
Ready. You want this? You need this information? Who need it? Who need it? Let's just, all right, there you go. All right, we don't have time to play this game. But it never worked,
Yeah, sure. Yep.
It never worked because it becomes futile. It becomes futile to do these things when all you're thinking about, every move, you're thinking, this is it. The man gonna be here. No, he right around the corner. Oh no, if I go to this, I do this. Baby, live your life.
Live it.
Live your life.
Yeah.
Stop trying to create and fashion and position, and it ain't gonna happen that way. You can be intentional about meeting people, but don't try to mastermind a plan for marriage. Just be intentional about meeting people.
That's amen. You've grown so much. I'm so proud of you. I would say that
Some slight
yes,
shade there.
and yes, and that's for earlier in the conversation. Yes, and the other thing I would also caution, when you're doing these things, don't do it out of spite. I think something we can go to the other side of, like, I don't need no man to do this. I'm gonna just go do this on my own. That kind of attitude. And it's like, hey, don't do it out of spite because you're just trying to prove something. Like, I don't need you. I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna go do me. I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna do my life. I'm gonna live. Because it's giving bitter. It's like,
Not giving bitter.
It's like, that kind of energy is not the energy that I think you want to practice living with. You don't want to practice living your life because you're trying to prove you don't need anyone to do it. Live your life because it's your life to live. and do it with joy and contentment. And regardless of what happens as a result of it, right? Like just do that. And I think that's a healthier way to have mindset about that. The other thing I think is important, that understanding that anyone, you don't want somebody to find you. You don't want anyone to find you as less than your real self.
Well,
so if your real self is somebody who is a high achiever, somebody who is good with money, somebody who enjoys, a certain level of life that's just authentic to who you are, you need to do that. Like, and not again have it in your mind that I need to tamper it down in order to be attractive to somebody, because you don't even want him to be, or her to be, attracted to what's not real. You want them to be attracted, and the best partner is going to partner with who you really are. Not the version of yourself you think can be caught. And I think that is something we absolutely have to unlearn. And it keeps us stuck again in this mindset. And worse than stuck single, it'll connect you to somebody you don't need.
Man, let's talk about the counterfeits, man, because you're going to end up being with somebody who matches your portrayal and not your reality. Right? You're trying to pretend to be low maintenance, and now you done caught low maintenance.
What you said.
Okay. And now you trying to make low maintenance work.
But you're not going to stay low maintenance. Your bougie is coming. It's coming.
Let me tell you something.
It's coming. Talk to him, Jaquita.
My bougie slipped right on out. Okay, it slipped right on out. It said my bougie was only restricted by my paycheck. Okay, it said when we finally got to a place, it said, stretch out. Okay, please. I've been pushed in this corner for too long. Right? But seriously though, and I really want to talk, because I feel like I was not the only person in that position. Listen, all of us didn't go to college and get these STEM degrees. Okay.
Sure. Nope, not at all.
Some of us went and got these humanities. We went to these liberal art colleges. I majored in religion. Okay. Listen. All right. I majored in religion, and I came out with a bachelor's in religion from a great school, a master of divinity from a great school. And then I went out into the real world, and they said, what is that? What is that, and why would you think that was going to do anything for you? Okay. And I had to do a slow crawl. I had to, because I was building up purpose, and purpose at the time was not building up. It was providing, but like providing at cost. I was living an at cost life.
That's hilarious.
It was an investment into my call. It was an investment into who I am as a person. It was an investment into what God had for my hands. And I sowed my seed into the ground. And when the harvest time, when the Lord said, okay, it is time. Okay, you don't have to live like that anymore. Okay, I said, thank you, Lord. Mm-hmm. And I moved right on up where the Lord pulled me up to. I went with him. Okay. And so I just really want to encourage, because everybody's journey is different. And when we can get stuck a lot of times, going back to that comparison thing, going back to the social media thing, there may be a lot of middle adults like me who also watched as people went on trips, as they went out and they were enjoying their lives. And as a single person, when you don't have the money to do everything that other singles are doing to make themselves feel better.
That's real.
You get what I'm saying?
That's real, man.
All you got to hope for is marriage. Because you like,
That's
man, maybe when I get the double income, I can go live.
Quita, you need to pause right there because I think that's a very real. I think that's a very real mindset that is not. I don't know that I've ever heard it said like that before, and it's very raw. Like that's so real. Like when you don't have the money to live the way that you said other people live as a single person, all you have to hope for is marriage sometimes. Because
Listen,
we need two incomes so I can go on a vacation.
Ruth
I mean,
Abigail,
that's
I need two incomes so I can, eat out at a
I'm
fancy
about to say,
restaurant.
yeah, we go out to a
So
nice
I can
dinner.
get massages and, run through the tulips like everybody else. Because when you're living paycheck to paycheck, you feel like there's really no other way. Like you don't feel like you have a lot of joy. And then you start revenge spending, right? You start shopping and saying, I'm gonna buy this stuff anyway. Is this gonna leave me in a
Yeah.
financial crunch next month? Probably.
Yes.
But
Yes, it
I'm
will.
gonna spend it anyway because when I look on social media, everybody is out here flouncing around in name brand stuff. Where y'all get Prada and Gucci from? Okay, how y'all over there? I'm over here at
Mm-hmm.
Nordstrom Rack. Y'all at Neiman Marcus.
You know where they getting it from,
Okay,
Jaquita?
credit cards.
Visa and MasterCard. And
Yeah,
yeah.
right. But you don't even make enough to get approved for enough.
That $300 limit ain't gonna get me nothing.
No, I ain't never had no
I'm just
$300
playing.
limit. Now it was a little bit better than that. I had a career.
I'm
I
just
had a career. A credit card for $300. But regardless, like seriously, like you're looking and you're watching everybody live, and you don't think you'll be able to enjoy the things that they're enjoying until you are married. Now, that's not the
Yeah.
only reason why you're hoping and looking for marriage, but it is a thought that runs through your mind that, like,
Absolutely.
okay, I'm not going to be able to do the things until I get a second income. And
Yeah.
I specifically want to tell you that if you are a child of the Lord, and if you know God, if you know that God is a provider, and not only is God a provider, like God is not a check to check kind of God,
Mm.
right? God can set you up in a position. He can give you a master plan. He can give you ideas. He can give you opportunities that are not regular, or that are not, previously written, that you would not expect, that can change your status.
Mm.
And you don't have to depend on marriage in order to become a person that can enjoy life.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
Take a moment, but it's only when you remove that thought out of your mind that it's only this. This is the only way that I'm ever be financially stable. Is when there's another income and we splitting bills and da 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 da. When you take that mindset away, it gives you an opportunity to hear God's course for your life. But when you are only stuck on, it's got to happen this way, and
Yeah.
this is what I need to happen so that I can, X, Y, and Z, you are missing the opportunity for God to show you who He really is to you. And I think that's what I've started to lean into. Because I'm like, hey, listen, I have a set lifestyle. Okay, I have set expectations because the Lord has blessed me and put me in a different position. And so, now meet the real Jaquita.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
I'm
And
not,
yeah.
I'm not out here in Gucci and Prada because I really don't even like it that much.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
find me something that I do like, and let's go.
Well, and I think two things, and then we'll pivot to the next point. But I think it's understandable. One, two incomes come. One income, one person. I think sometimes we think two incomes, one person, and it's like, no, baby, it's two incomes,
Yeah.
two people. And so that
Yeah, but one
math,
mortgage.
well, yeah, but that math starts to feel a little funny. Like, hold on, two incomes. I thought we were supposed to be. It's like, no, I'm not doing much different. Like the stuff I was doing before, I'm pretty much still doing, right? And you might feel like you can splurge a little bit here and there, but it ain't drastic because you got a whole other human and you don't know who that human is. And you don't know what they're coming with. You don't know what expectations and the life that they're used to living. So there's this it's this thing that you have to learn. I think the other thing is that if you're not careful, not only are you gonna miss what the way that God can position you, right, to be resourced his way. But if you have this mindset that is toxic in the sense of I'm gonna need I need a second income, I need a man or a woman in order to have the life I want. You could be running into a burden that you didn't ask, that you asked for and didn't realize what was coming. And so you're searching for this, and what can happen is you could gain a burden instead of a blessing because you really were not looking for this individual for the right reason. And you could get exactly what you asked for and hate it. Right? You could get exactly what you asked for and hate it. Because if what you're asking for is lifestyle, if that's what you want, understand that it comes with all the other things. It comes with character. It comes with maturity. It's going to, or lack thereof, it's going to come with all these other things. And if lifestyle's the only thing you looking to fix, if you go into it, oh, I can live the life I want, that life is going to seem a little real thin real quick, because if those other things aren't compatible and aren't right, the lifestyle is not going to matter to you after about a week. Like you won't care. And so you just gained a burden and not a blessing, because the way that we're thinking about this thing is warped. It's just not right. So I think those are really important things to unlearn. Okay, so this last thing is, and I would say this thing is probably something that I have spent the most time with my figuring out myself, is this idea of using preparation as a mask because of the fear of vulnerability.
My Lord.
Right? I'll only date seriously when I get certain things together, is the idea, right? We don't always say that, but that's how we move. For men, a lot of times that might be money, that might be the right career path, and that's what I hear so much from guys, is like, I just got to make sure I got my money right. I got to make sure that I've hit certain marks in my life, mostly financially, and a level of stability before I bring on somebody else. Now, hear me. I think that's wise. Like, I don't think that's a bad thing. Sometimes we can overdo it, though. Sometimes we can go so far, and what's really holding us back is fear, not preparation. You're actually prepared, but you're afraid because there's a level of vulnerability that you have not yet committed to going in order to make a real intimate connection. And I would say for women, I think healing, you mentioned it earlier, Quita, like going through a healing process, which we all need to do. Making sure that I'm stable mentally, making sure that I feel, my esteem is right, make sure that I'm good, just that I love myself, like all those things. Those are good things to prepare. Those are great things to prepare, and you need to prepare those things, and but doing it because you need to do it for you, and not necessarily focusing on it solely for preparing for a partner. And so I think, again, we can overdo it and be in preparation season so long, mostly because we have not allowed ourselves to be vulnerable. And I think, or we're afraid of what that is. We're afraid of vulnerability, and we're afraid we won't be good at it. I will say, for me, I was afraid. There was a time in my life that I was afraid I would never get married, because I didn't think that anybody could love me the way I was, because I was so locked up inside. I just didn't think anybody would deal with that, and I didn't know how to get unlocked. And this idea of transparency and vulnerability was so unnerving to me. And I was like, I know that's going to be necessary. I don't know that I can do it. And because I don't know that I can do it, I don't think anybody's going to want me. That's what played in my mind for a while, I would say. And so I just began to believe that unless I figure this out, I'm not going to get married. Now, for a while, I didn't really care that much because marriage wasn't on my mind. But then when marriage became something I halfway desired, I knew that was something I needed to work through. And what I had to make sure of was that I wasn't doing it just for the marriage, like for the opportunity to get married. I was doing it because it was going to be healthy for me to do, period. It was going to make me a better leader, to be more vulnerable. It was going to make me a better friend, a better daughter, a better everything, right? To be more vulnerable. And I could relate to people in a different way. I could connect to people in a different way. And it wasn't just about being married. And so I had to go through that journey. But there was a fear of not being able to hold a marriage or to be desirable to be married because I did not know how to not be. I didn't know how to be vulnerable. And so,
yeah, we've been friends for like 20 years. I don't know that we've ever had this conversation in this
really,
in this way. Like, I don't think I've ever heard you say it like that.
Really? I thought I had. Okay, well,
possibly.
First time for everything.
I'm interested to know. I mean, I feel like the audience is interested in knowing what ways outside of a relationship did you work on being more vulnerable?
I would say mostly through my friendships. I think that was where I practiced it, is with community, with people I was close to. Allowing people more deeply in, being more transparent, honest about kind of what I was feeling, and also I think taking more risks. I became less risk averse. And in several areas of my life. And it's just like, hey, you just gotta step out there and do it. You're not gonna be prepared for everything. You just have to go for it. And I think practicing that in small ways over time helped. Even if it was as small as, I don't want to say this thing, but I'm gonna say it. Or it could be that small, or it could be as small as like introducing myself to another colleague, just because I'm just not used to being the one to go first. And for me, that felt vulnerable. It felt like I don't want to be rejected, or I don't want to I don't want to be awkward, whatever. Like I had all these I don't want to be's, and I just didn't do it. But it's like, hey, if it happens, it happens. If they look at you crazy, if they look at you funny, it is what it is. Just do it. Like I went through this period where, I read, I think it was like 2018, I read Shonda Rhimes' book, The Year of Yes. Great book.
I remember when you read that.
Great book. And I definitely took that on. I said, I'm going to practice this in my own way. And I think that the thing that I kind of said, hey, I think it was for this next year, I want to say I did. The things I would normally say yes to, I'm going to say no to. And the things I normally say no to, I'm going to say yes to the extent I can do it. And I consciously did that. And so if I normally would not do something, I made myself do it. If I normally would do something for whatever reason, I said, hey, I'm not going to do that. So I think practicing in very small ways was really helpful for me. And it made it less scary. And I think the other thing that was helpful is writing, like just journaling, started to journal a lot. And, we've talked about this on another episode, but the blog that I started, and that getting that out, like that was my first entry point into letting people into a place that I just have never let, especially publicly, never happened. Right. And I saw how that resonated, and I also saw how that made me more free. And so I just kept doing that. And that helped me a lot. And that was in like 2018. Yeah. And so for me, it was a 3 year between going through that and kind of deciding how I'm going to live, and the 2021 where I met my husband's 3-year journey. I don't know. It could be a 6-month journey for people. It could be a 10-year journey. I don't know. But it wasn't top of mind. Like, I didn't do that because I was thinking about marriage. That wasn't the reason I did it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
I think it's interesting. I also will say that I struggled with vulnerability, but in a different way. Like for me, I feel like I struggled with being vulnerable first with myself, and like just really being honest and saying things like, Jaquita, that made you angry, or Jaquita, that really hurt.
Yeah.
And because I was such a silver lining, it's gonna be okay, push through, that I wasn't allowing myself to feel feelings. And
Yeah.
I used to say all through high school, all through college, all through my young adult years, I'd be like, I'm just not a crier.
Yeah.
I don't really cry much, because while everyone else is crying, I'm like, okay, how can I make this better? How can I spin this, give a little encouragement, and I got to a point in my life where I was like, Jaquita, maybe you haven't been telling yourself the truth about everything. And maybe because you haven't been telling yourself the truth, maybe you also don't know how to tell other people the truth. And I had to start sitting with myself, I would say, around about the same time, maybe like 2017, 2018. I had to start sitting with myself and saying, I have big feelings toward things that I normally just scoot on over for the sake of creating harmony, are preventing disagreement, are preventing uh not controversy, what's the C word? Conflict. I'm very conflict avoidant, or I was, right? And so like I'm trying my best to keep things at a stable point, because I am at a point where I don't even know how I'm going to react if I get to a point where somebody pushes me over the edge.
Yeah.
Like, I've not seen myself over the edge. Neither has anybody else. And so what if I do get to that place? Can people love me even if I'm angry?
That's real. That's good,
Even if
Quita.
I'm upset, even if I'm sad,
Yeah.
even if I'm showing up and I'm not bubbly and I'm not charismatic, but I'm really down.
Yeah.
I'm really, not feeling it today.
Yeah.
Like, we're, and I think a lot of that for me came because in high school, I really struggled with low self-esteem and insecurity. And so I spent a lot of time building myself up to be the perfect friend, to be the person that everyone wanted around. I had like 8 male best friends, and they, like, they were all my friends, were my world.
Yeah.
And me becoming whoever each of them needed was what I was preoccupied with. And I always had the thought, like, if I'm not the perfect friend, they gonna realize that they don't really need or want me around.
Yeah.
And I think for some of us, I think vulnerability takes on this aspect of really, I think the first, or one, maybe not the first part, because I think self-awareness is the first part of everything. But there's a moment where you have to be honest. And and there's a moment where you have to say, even if I don't feel like anyone will understand this, I have to trust somebody around me to let this out.
Yes. Yeah.
And really acknowledging with yourself that it is okay. It is okay for me to not be perfect, for me to have feelings, for me to have opinions,
Yep.
for me to not know how to deal with something, for me to be unsure. It is okay for us to be complicated. You get what I'm saying? And I think we try to simplify ourselves to make ourselves palatable for people. But it is
Absolutely.
okay for you to be complicated.
Yeah.
and
That's
you're
good.
allowed that. And you are going to have to be, for those of us desiring marriage, you're going to have to be all of your complicated self within that marriage.
Man.
I think that's another
Yeah.
idea that I kind of had to move away from, this idea that I was crafting the perfect person for my husband.
Mm.
I had to be the perfect weight. I had to, keep my face made up every day, and my hair a certain way every day, and wearing, the same, these fashionable clothes every day. And I had to be really smart. I had to be really on top of my stuff. And trying to mold this idea. I got to wash the dishes every day, which I still is a struggle. I hate washing the dishes.
Sure.
And that is one thing I still be thinking in my mind. I'd be like, listen, if I tell my husband that I'll cook, I'm sure I can get him to wash these dishes. But like there, we stay in this mindset of, I'm trying to build myself to be the person that someone will want.
Mm.
And you're trying to extract the complicated parts of yourself. And you're a whole person.
Yeah.
You're a whole human being with experiences, with triggers, with, even through my healing course, like it wasn't like we didn't get a certificate saying congratulations, you're healed. We got our last lesson was, this is a lifelong journey.
Yeah.
You're always going to be
You're
healing.
not done, right?
Always going to be healing. What you mean? I gotta keep practicing these tools.
Yep.
Stay healed.
Man.
I thought, we get healed and then we be healed. That's why when somebody says, I'm not even on that anymore, I'm healed, I'd be like, yeah, until you're triggered.
Correct.
You're healed until you're triggered. And then what tools? So the question that you ask people is not, are you healed from your past and your childhood? The question you ask people is, what are the tools and the processes you use when you're triggered by something that may have happened before? How do you navigate spaces how do you navigate your complicated spaces?
And I think that is the mark of healing, is being able to answer that question, because life is going to hit again. And the question is, what are your processes? What are the tools that you use when life hits? If you don't have an answer to that, or it's more of an avoidant nature, like I'm going to try to dodge those things, that's not healing, right? No, I think that's absolutely correct. Something, as you were talking, I'll be real. Let's see. I'm gonna be very honest. Not that I haven't been, but I'm just be real as a leader. This idea of complication and like being complicated. I don't know how this is gonna sound. But
get ready to edit, producer Joy.
Yeah, I don't know how it's gonna come out. But I think that as a leader, we deal with complicated people all day, right? And sometimes but as a leader, listen to this, in some leadership positions, in my particular position, I'm not because I'm the person in charge. I do the letting go. Okay. All right. So I'm not at risk of being let go, right? In that way.
Okay. Wait, I didn't know that's what you were talking about. Keep going.
So I'm hoping to make this system, and that, let me be clear, that's not to say fire complicated people. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is like, in a marriage, I think sometimes there might be a fear that if I'm too complicated, they will leave.
Whoa, yeah,
right,
girl, yeah.
As opposed to
in a marriage, in
anything, but as a leader, that's not a fear, because I ain't leaving. You can leave, but I'm because of my position. I'm cool. My complication for you doesn't denote me. I'm not gonna leave. I don't know if that's making sense, but you're kind of on the side as a leader in some positions. You are on the side. You have there's a power dynamic there that sometimes can make you feel more safe.
Yeah.
And to make you feel more safe, even though you know you're complicated, versus other people who may not feel as safe because they're also complicated. And so I think that is, part of being a good leader is accepting all of it and leading through the complications of yourself, your team, environment, all that stuff. In a marriage, there's no power dynamic.
Yeah.
So I'm not on top. And so it's like, if he or she recognizes how complicated I am, then I may not, one of us may not stay, right?
Yeah.
And so that mindset shift from leader in a work setting or career setting to a spouse is those are two different ways of being.
Yeah.
And so when you have been in that power dynamic for a length of time, when you realize like maybe they're gonna feel the same way I feel about some people about me, it can scare you, because it's like, I don't have the leverage I have at work, in this house, in this relationship. Does that make sense? Did I come across? Okay.
No, that's super good. That's super good. Super good. I also think as you were talking, I was thinking that sometimes as leaders, because we're constantly in a space where we're making decisions, we're focused on everyone else, and you're constantly just, surveying situations and surveying people, depending on who you are, and you're just adjusting them, shifting them, changing them. You're not really complicated in your leadership role, because it's not about you.
That's right.
Because you're
That's a great
constantly
point.
pouring out and you're constantly attending to everybody and everything else.
Well, you don't feel like you're
really
complicated.
become complicated until, you do have complicated feelings and reactions, but you don't always get to express those.
Yeah, that's very true.
You don't always get to live in your, I don't like this.
That's right.
I'm mad. I'm angry. Nobody, you don't get to be angry.
No.
Like when I was in a position and I felt like I was being persecuted, all right, because people was, being themselves, right? I didn't get to go to work and be mad because I'm a leader.
Yeah.
I get to go to work and still serve. I get to go to work and figure out how to navigate all of your complexities while not tending to my own.
Yeah.
And that's why you need good management. You need the managers of the managers.
That's right.
That's neither here nor there. Y'all know how I feel about middle management. But I really feel like for me, it was when I started realizing outside of my leadership roles, that is where I started to really, you have to find safe places outside of your leadership where you are expressing the complexity of not just who you are as a leader, but who you are when you're not the one making the decisions. And who you are when the responsibility is not in your hands. Right? And you have to have
that's good.
safe places. And I think, if you are a person, because I was this person, and I can really say it's only been probably this past year that I was not this person, where I was really trying to continue to oversimplify myself to make myself palatable. And when I say be your complex whole self, this is not me talking to the keep it 100 people. Because I know y'all, okay? I know y'all listen, you know what I'm saying? Because this is who I am, okay? And no. We are not trying to reinforce, because that's another extreme.
That's
You're just on the other side of it because that's a mask.
Yeah.
I'm not telling people to wear the keep it 100 mask.
Yeah.
Because that's a mask that you use as a deterrent to keep people away too. Right? But really explore while you're in your single season and you have people around you, you have friends, you have family members, wouldn't suggest coworkers, but I don't know your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, really take opportunities to really be a complex person and not a palatable one.
Yeah, that's good.
Right. And take the
That's good.
risk of giving people your truth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, of giving people your I didn't really like that.
Yeah.
I didn't really appreciate that. That kind of made me upset. I'm really sad today because I had a sad thought. You know, I really don't want to go out with you because sometimes I feel like my life isn't as good as yours.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like really have those. I mean, me, Ruth, Abigail, and Joy have had those conversations.
For sure.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And I think that those moments are the ones that helped me to realize I was not just one happy note.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
know,
That's good.
you cannot make a song with one note.
No.
You
Or one
could, but
one
it wouldn't
one
be an
chord.
exciting one.
You know, it's true. All songs are made up of major and minor chords,
Yeah.
and they're
You got to
different
have both.
chords. You got to have all. Yeah,
You got to have all of them. Allow your life to go up and down the scale,
that's right.
and allow other people to hear the melody of your life.
Come on, musical analogy. Come on, let's
I
go.
had to
Let's
take it
go.
on
I
through.
love it. That's good.
Okay.
I love that. No, I think that's exactly right, and I think as leaders, we need to give ourselves permission to do that. It's just it's a healthy practice. It'll make you a better leader. Honestly, if you allow yourself to do that. Um, okay, all right. Hey, I think we did it. You know, we need to make a public apology to producer Joy because we told her we'd be done in
No,
45
Ruth
minutes.
Abigail needs to make a
Oh,
public
that's true.
apology because
Did
I
I say
never
that?
said that.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
Ruth
you
was like,
didn't.
"It's gonna be a tight 45." I was like, "We've never done that before."
That's not true. We have, but it's not often, and this was not that. So
I knew this wasn't gonna be
we
that.
apologize, producer Joy, but hopefully you guys have made it through. Hopefully you found value in the conversation. We love you all. We love this topic. I think I'm enjoying this topic. I hope that it will set people free. To that may feel stuck in their mindset around being single and having to live this leadership life. It isn't easy. And so
It's not.
we hope that these conversations will help you get free. But listen, if that's not your issue, and if you aren't the one that needs freedom, you know somebody who does. So give it to them. You know what I'm saying? Pass it
Pass
along.
it all. Okay. Pass it all.
Don't let it stay on your phone. You get it on somebody else's phone. All right. So they can listen to it. All right. So we love you guys and we hope y'all continue to stay tuned for the remainder of this series. And until next week, let's keep unlearning together so that we can experience more freedom. Peace.